How do you feel about trains? Hey there, it's Ollie from Mashup Games. I've been working on something in secret for quite a while now, and I think I'm just about ready to start sharing it with all you lovely people. So grab a seat, get comfy, get some snacks, and let's talk about it. Now, I'm no stranger to making games at this point. I've been in loads of game jams before, and I have experience as a programmer within the industry for a few years. But when it comes to my track record on outside of work, working on bigger projects, not that great. But things are different now. I'm older, just a tiny bit wiser, and I'm ready to start committing to a big game project again. And this time, it's going to be a cozy game. The term cozy game kind of came around in 2020 when the whole global pandemic started and people were made to stay inside and isolate themselves. Animal Crossing New Horizons was the flagship for this movement, and since then there's been an explosion of wholesome indie games on the market. Unpacking, Spiritfarer, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Alba a Wildlife Adventure, Dorf Romantic, even Power Wash Simulator. These are just to name a few. Even before 2020 there were some big cozy games too, like A Short Hike, Stardew Valley, basically any Nintendo game. People want more games that aren't violent or stressful, but instead calm, comforting, relaxing. And I want to make one of those games. Now, I tend to stay away from games that are very bloody and violent and guns and shooting. I more gravitate towards the games that are simple and wholesome, which I guess kind of sums me up pretty well. Cardallion, the game I gave up after 2 years, ultimately failed because the game system I was wanting to make was too complicated. The same thing happened with Project Dungeon. It wasn't simple enough. Maybe making a cozy game is my calling. Maybe I'm meant to make something which is just simple, calm, colourful, and stress-free. Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, a TV show that started airing in 1984 and followed trains with faces as they crashed into things, casually insulted others,
"Hello, fat face,"
and often stared blankly in the distance. This show defined my childhood. I remember lying down in front of an old boxy TV watching VHS tapes of the classic seasons. Everything about the show was charming, from the beautiful model sets to the wholesome stories, and even some British humour on the side.
He said, "My doctor has forbidden me to pull."
On the Independent 2009's Happy List, you can find a list of 100 people who helped make Britain a better and happier place to live. You'll find people like David Attenborough, Quentin Blake, Lauren Child, Ian McKellen, Terry Pratchett, Rebecca Adlington, and Thomas the Tank Engine, Train. But then again, if you look on the 2011 Happy List, you can find Viagra. Let's just skip past this point. Look, the point I'm trying to make is that Thomas the Tank Engine was a happy, charming show, and that's what I want to make into a game. Now, trains aren't new to the game scene. If I were to count all the trains that existed in games on my fingers, I would run out of fingers. Train Simulator, Railroad Tycoon, Station to Station, Railbound, Railgrade, Mini Metro, Sid Meier's Railroads, Tractor Train Set Games, Choo Choo Charles, Islands and Trains. Oh look, I've run out of fingers. If you look at these games, you tend to notice a certain trend. Or should I say, train. That's great, you've been a great audience, I've been here all week. Most of these games can be fit into a few genres: puzzle, strategy, sandbox, and simulation. Maybe you're building tracks for the trains to run on, or maybe you're driving the trains around or from one place to another. It comes with a bit of detachment. It's like you're handling a model railway set, but not that you're in a model railway set. Games like Train Simulator do let you control the trains like you want to, but they're too realistic to the point where the controls are complex and the journeys are too long to hold my attention. I don't want to drive an AP Class 700 from Cambridge to Brighton in 2 hours. I want to drive a little steam train around a cosy, colourful countryside. And you know what game does allow you to drive a little steam train around a cosy, colourful countryside? Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. Link's ridden a horse, he's sailed a boat, he's driven a motorbike, so why not drive a train? Not only does a train serve as a mode of transportation between different areas in the overworld, but the journey is a mini-game in itself. You control the train, you control where it goes, and there's loads of points on the tracks that keep your attention. Sound the whistle to get animals to move off the tracks. Navigate carefully around enemy trains. Fire your cannon at targets. Cannons don't normally go on trains, do they? It's a game that is about the destination, but keeps you happy and engaged on the journey too. Unfortunately though, the DS is not a powerful bit of hardware, so it couldn't handle a more dense environment or terrain, which leaves you with leaving quite a bit to the imagination. They used a lot of 2D textures on flat plains, and the overworld looks quite a bit empty. You're also only allowed to leave your train at stations in which there's a fade to black and a clear change of scene. Just think, this as a mainline game on more powerful modern hardware could be so much more. Look at Breath of the Wild, a recent game in the series. You have a world full of places to explore and the freedom to go anywhere you want at your own pace. Just think of that and then add trains. Wouldn't that be so awesome? Yeah, actually, it will. Now this is the idea I have at the moment. There's an island that you can travel around, and the way you travel around the island is using a small steam engine that was given to you. Around the island are villages and towns, and other places like a dock, or a quarry, or a lumber mill, or a farm and such. In these places, you'll meet the island's inhabitants and be given quests to complete. These quests could be things like taking passengers from one village to another, or transporting cargo to a destination. Some of these quests will help improve areas of the island, unlocking more railway lines and new areas to visit. How you get around the island is on your own little steam train. The controls are very simple. You can accelerate and decelerate. And you can also toot the whistle, there's no way I'm not going to add that. What you also can do is get on and off the train anywhere in the world, meaning you can hop off and run into a nearby field or explore the mountains and rivers. Obviously there'll be some places you can't leave the train, like tunnels or enclosed spaces, but it's more likely you'll be able to leave the train in more areas than you won't. Your train only has one carriage, which is your cabin. There will be some customization available, such as changing the colour of the engine or the interiors of your cabin. For now, I'm going to say you won't be able to add any more carriages except temporarily for quests, but that is more to limit the scope, so it may change in the future. When I think of an island with a rich, strong history in train travel, with some beautiful grassy landscapes and cosy, quaint little villages, there's no surprise that I'm thinking of United Kingdom. I'm English, if you couldn't tell from the accent, and I grew up in the English countryside, so it's all very familiar to me. Rolling green hills? Lovely jubbly. Thatched roof cottages? Feels right at home. Driving down a narrow road that's really only big for one car, yet it's a two-way street, and it's a national speed limit, so you got to go slowly and slowly peek around the corner to see there's no other cars coming, because if they do, it will force you to go back into an opening that's big enough for the other car to pass. It's called a Tuesday. Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland are beautiful too, and they have some really lovely scenery. The whole island is a big collection of these natural beauties that is a perfect inspiration for a game where you explore these landscapes and find little gems in the countryside. Plus, if I'm wanting some inspiration, I can just hop in my car and drive around some roads. The inspiration is right there. Also, steam trains were invented in Britain. The first ever railway journey was in 1804 at Penydarren in Wales, and then the first public steam-powered railway was the Stockton and Darlington Railway in England in 1825. Even the most famous steam engine in the world, the Flying Scotsman, operated between London and Edinburgh. So I'm going to be taking a page out of the Reverend Audrey's book, and I'm going to be basing my island off the coast of Britain somewhere. Now, if this game sounds like your cup of tea and biscuits, let me encourage you to add it to your wish list. There's a Steam page that's up right now, so click the link in the description and hit that wishlist button. Talking of hitting buttons though, what about that like button? No, it looks pretty hittable. Ooh. Seen the subscribe button though? That looks really hittable. Now there's not actually much to show for the game at the moment. For pretty much all of 2023, I've been working on editor systems and tools and all this stuff to lay a really good framework for when I actually build the game, rather than rushing it all for the sake of content. And that's kind of why I didn't upload anything in 2023. I'm also trying to figure out what the art style for the game is, and having to sculpt and manage a really big open world terrain is kind of hard for me. So yeah, I don't actually have much to show for the moment, but I do have some nice screenshots, and I'm going to play out this video with a little bit of gameplay footage. And that's it from me. I absolutely love working on this game so far, and I'm really looking forward to working on it more and seeing all your guys' responses to it. Do you like the sound of this game? Let me know in the comments. But for now, I've got to go work on a little USB game, huh? Alright, see ya.